Welcome to the Woodshop build. I need to get this pink styrofoam covered with that plywood, but before I can do that, I basically need to move all of this stuff over to that wall right there. There's a couple of reasons I need to do that. First reason is I need this wall completely clear so I can work on stuff here. And the second reason, the reason all this stuff needs to go away, is that I'm going to be moving my old miter bench into place right here and using that until I can build a new one. And once that's done, I'll have the room to move the jointer into its final position and get that hooked up. And I'll be working on the planer shortly after that. This is all going to be within this next week. So I really need to get moving on this big shift. So let's just get at it and I'll talk to you when we're done. Okay, thought I'd give you a 2-hour update. Really doesn't look like I got much done, but I got a couple sets of sawhorses over there, and I still got a good amount of room on the sawhorses. Got this set of sawhorses cleared off and got all them pipes and stuff out of here. Now I got to tackle this stuff and this stuff. I got a lot of the stuff that was right here out of here, but I'm going to have to find places for all this stuff over in this area. And it doesn't matter if I have aisles, like if I put another bench right here and then another bench right here, that doesn't matter at all. I've been working with that same setup over here for quite some time now, and it's easy enough to get at stuff that way. That'll give me a huge area that's cleared out, and I'll be able to move the jointer into its final position right here, get that miter bench in there, and real soon get that planer done. So let me keep working at this and I will get back with you probably in another couple hours. All right, there you have it. It's probably been about 4 days since I last recorded. I've done a little bit here, a little bit there. One day I actually did 6 hours worth of cleaning, but I didn't record any of that stuff. Now I'll just give you a quick tour and we'll wrap this up. I got this area right here all swept up and moved both of my drills over here. This one is actually connected. This one is just out of the way. So now I can use the drill press anytime I want, and it's out of the way until I can find a permanent home for it. I got the miter saw area nice and cleaned up, swept up the floor, cleaned up the machine and everything. This is going to be moved over to its permanent location soon. Not on the permanent stand, but we're going to get all that figured out. So this will be moving pretty darn soon. If you remember the air compressor setup, I talked about how this air chuck right here wasn't the right air chuck. I got the right air chuck, so this will be going on there. That's not a big priority because I can use the chuck that's on there. I just cleaned up the area and moved the hoses over here. So now I have air anytime I want it. I got this area set up for the planer rebuild. I decided to just take this thing apart and I'm going to glue all of these nuts right here and use graphene on the table, get that nice and cleaned up. The biggest thing that made me decide to do that, besides the rusty table, was these rusty columns. I don't want to try to clean these, like clean the top, move it down, clean that part, and try to do it that way. I'm just going to take this whole thing apart, clean everything up, spritz some new paint on it, and polish it up, and we will have a fairly new looking planer when we're done. So we got all our wrenches here, the Helix cutter head that's going on it, the planer readout, some chem dip for cleaning parts. This is for the bluing Brownells, and this is for lubing the chain. So when I'm taking this apart, I'll just take it apart piece by piece, put it on here, and then write what everything is. All of the black stuff like this is going to get blued, just like I did on the jointer. I blued all this stuff. I'll put a link to that video. Yeah, when this is clean, it looks really nice with a fresh blued surface like that. So, complete planer rebuild, but it's not broken or anything. I'm just taking it apart, cleaning it, spritzing it up with some new paint, lubing everything, putting on a Helix cutter head, and putting on that remote planer readout, and fixing up the electrical box. And I'll be putting wheels on it and getting rid of this mobile base. I hate that mobile base. The jointer is moved in to its final position. I'm going to be hooking up the wiring and hooking up the ductwork. We're going to have our drop come down right here. And with any luck, the jointer should be working within the next week. I have the miter table area all cleaned out. I'm going to be making a few sawhorses, and I believe I showed you the miter table. I'm going to move that into here, get that cleaned up, set that up, and then get the miter saw onto it. And we're going to do some testing, and we're going to see how we can hook up this, but I'll be using one of those silicone boots right at the blade for the majority of the dust pickup. This should be an interesting project here. This, it doesn't really look like it, but this is all ready for working on the wall. This project ran into a snag. I was converting this to propane, and we had the wrong conversion kit. So I'm going to finish this up, and this will be out of here. That'll open up this whole space, and then we have our sawhorses and our wood. I'll start cutting panels, and we're going to get back onto this wall right here. And we're going to start right here, get this part in, finish up the tin up there, and I have to beef up this area right here because we're going to have a big hidden door here that you can't tell it's even there. And then that's going to open up to right here in this area. But I need to beef up this area right here where the hinge is going to go. It can't be foam like that. So that'll come first. Then I'll start working on the wall. And I'm going to get about halfway with the wall. And I don't know if I'm going to run the duct right away, but this main duct is going to go up to the ceiling, across, and then down over to there. I don't need to run that right away, but I do want to run my conduit over and get the lights set up. We'll have a setup over there similar to this with, I believe, I don't know if the second one's going to have 2 or 1. I'll have to look at the diagram, but it's going to have the 3 main switches for the overhead lights, just like that one. The scaffolding is just sitting over the plywood just to keep it out of the way. When I do the second level of the plywood, I'll be using this over there, but for now, it just needs to be out of the way. Just a lot of cleaning, and a lot of the cleaning involves getting the dust off of stuff and sweeping, and real pain in the butt. I have a lot of projects. This is a project right here. That's a project. These are for the other channel, some of them are for this channel. And like this right here, these gigantic drawer guides are for a project that's coming up, and that'll be pretty interesting as well. Old jig right there for making gumball machines. So I have everything so I can get at stuff. This is all the electrical for that part of the wall. And then we have our duct stuff right here and down here and right there. Got a little bit on the outside of the door out there. But I can get at everything I need to get at, and the space is open for the next 3 or 4 things on the punch list. So let's look at that real quick. All right, machine drops. We'll be doing that machine drop for the jointer. Then we're gonna rebuild the planer. Also, I forgot to mention, but I'll be putting graphene on the iron on this, and it's possible I'll be putting it on the columns, but in all likelihood, I'll probably just polish these up and then send them out and get them re-chromed. That should be an interesting project there as well. So, the 2 big projects are done, the dust collection and the compressed air. I can't do the machine drop for the planer until the planer is done, but the planer is going to go right in line with that door. In case I got really long stuff, open the door and plane right out the door. And once that's in place, then I can move the table saw into place right over here and connect that drop right there. So those really shouldn't be on here. We'll get them onto the next one. Okay, hook up 3 main machines. I just talked about that. Reinforce both doors. There's a door behind that foam over there. That needs to be reinforced as well. There's going to be another hidden door over there. 3-way light circuit. Parts cart design. We talked briefly about those gigantic drawer slides over there. Those are part of the parts cart. Finished north wall. This entire wall is going to be finished fairly soon. Finish the lights. Again, I think I have that in 2 places. And then switch to the east wall, which is that chunk right there. That is going to take a while. That'll probably be a couple months at least. Miter table, we talked about that. Hidden doors, mini split, that's actually done. There's a couple more little things that need to happen outside, but that may not happen until spring. And work on the craft room, I don't know about that either. That all depends on what happens out here. So that's it for the punch list, and that's it for this big cleanup and reorganization for the work on the pink wall. I'm really excited to do this planer work. That is going to be a series of videos. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to split that up, but I don't want to make that one real long video. So make sure you subscribe and stop back to see that.